back to Talkin Texas Forever, a Friday Night Lights podcast. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Les.
And we're discussing Season 5, Episode 12, the penultimate episode of Season 5 of this series.
That's it. The second to last episode of the whole series.
That's it, guys. It's called Texas Whatever. Written by Carrie Aaron and directed by Kyle Chandler.
Nice. Yeah.
Original air date February 2nd, 2011.
Yeah, I'm not ready.
You're not ready.
No, I felt I needed so much more from this episode.
Okay.
I love the episode. Don't get me wrong. But I'm afraid in next week's episode, we're not going to continue what would just happened, you know?
Some
closure.
The summary for this episode, Coach Taylor receives an offer he can't refuse. Tim reassesses his future plans when an old flame returns to Dillon. Meanwhile, the fate of East Dillon's football program is decided.
Deceased.
Sure, that's the decision. Well, I mean, there are options. Okay, so in the beginning of this episode, the news outlets are all over Dillon Field, and they're there to question the coach and the team. What do we think is going to happen with the Lions? And meanwhile, the team is trying to get support from the community. We see the Lions outside of grocery stores, and they're trying to get people to show up to the town hall meeting.
Yeah.
And Luke says to Vince, we need babysitters. These are women and they have children. And it's really funny because Vince is like, we'll just ask Jess.
Yeah.
And Jess is like, you can hold a bottle.
I know. He's like, he didn't outright say you should babysit.
No.
But he's like, you should find someone to babysit. Right?
Well, it kind of was like, let's just ask Jess. And I don't think it got to the point.
And she's like,
No, you can do it. Yeah. Meanwhile, we have Buddy at home. He's cooking. And we get a knock from this. I'm assuming it's a Panther booster. We keep seeing this guy. I don't think he's the coach because Mac is the coach.
Is that what they were meaning? They were not, Mac was the option, but he's not the option. Right?
Right. That's what essentially I was picking up. But
okay.
This guy shows up to Buddy's and tells him how I already know what's going to happen at this town hall meeting. The budget's going to fall. This is Panther country. I just want to fill you in this is Panther town.
Right. And he's like, you love the Panthers. You love football. It's okay. Just come back. We need you. It's fine.
We need you. And almost kind of I need you to talk to Coach. Start planting some seeds in Coach's ear. And so Buddy asks Coach what he thinks about the town hall meeting, what he thinks going to happen. And essentially, we're going to have the best of the Lions and the best of the Panthers, and we're going to have a super team, which you predicted at some point, and I don't remember when.
I think it was last week.
But it was earlier before that where you were like, I can see it coming where we come up with a super team. I wish I pinpointed when you said that because I was like, oh,
and
this
girl makes
knows.
Sense. It sucks.
No, it totally sucks.
It sucks.
Especially because we even see Billy talk about it where he's in total denial. And of course he's freaking out because him and Mindy are having twins. And Mindy's really upset and obviously stressed out because she's like, one, I'm not going to be available and Stevie's not going to know me, but also how financially are we going to afford this?
Right. We're going to have 3 kids.
Right.
Too much.
Right. And Billy, he's like, we don't have to worry about it because the Lions are doing so well. We're going to state. There's no way they're going to cut us. And he's kind of in a denial here.
Very much in denial. I was like, Billy, just wait until after state to make your assumptions of how it's going to go.
Yeah.
But I guess they were making the decision even before state was happening.
Yeah. And he even goes to Coach to talk about the financial decision of how's it looking. And even Coach is like, ooh, it's a little messy. I can't tell you anything right now.
Right. Because
we don't know how it's going to be. And so we have this heated board meeting about the budget, and we have the boosters arguing, and we have the West Dillon is being like, but we own our houses, and it's just a big old mess. And we have the team show up towards the end because I think they were trying to rally together to actually say some things, and they're just like, there's no way we can even get a word in here.
There's no point.
There's no point.
Everyone's just yelling over each other. That girl. It's always so confusing with the seasons here.
Yeah.
I mean, as in football season, it's December, it's Christmas time. They're talking about next year's season. So does that mean in 6 months?
Yeah, I just think then because state is it. So then it'll be come next year,
Right.
which will be a new year and a new season.
Right.
Right?
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's waiting on this decision. They're all waiting outside. And ultimately, the Dillon Panthers will be the ultimate team.
Yeah.
And East Dillon has been eliminated. And we have this really sweet scene where Coach tells Vince that he will be the star QB of the Panthers. I'm so proud of you. And then they hug.
Vince like pulled him in.
Yeah.
He's like, I need this right now. Please give me a hug. And I got emotional.
I
Number
got
one.
emotional too, right? Should we like
Number one.
oh, so many emotions in this episode. After this meeting, Buddy is waiting in Coach's truck and they go to drink beers at Panther Field and Coach is like, I will never be a coach for this team again. Like, I am not a Panther. And then Buddy like paints the picture of you have to. You're going to have the best players from the Lions. You're going to have the resources of the Panthers. You're going to have like 2 states. Like he's already saying like, you're going to win state. You already won state before. You're going to win all these rings. Like, look how nice this looks.
Right.
You can come back.
And Coach is like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You shut up now.
You shut up now.
Because it sounds really good. My wife just told me a huge bombshell.
Yeah, which we will get.
Oh, I'm sure we will.
We will.
I'm sure we will.
Luke and Tinker and Hastings and BJ and Vince, we have this really sweet, it felt very reminiscent of our old buddies hanging out on the field, drinking beers.
It always happens like at the end of
bonding.
each season. I love it.
It was great. We love this. Earlier, we do see Jess dealing with her emotions of how upset she is with this and what's to come because she's like, this is the first time a coach has taken a chance on me and really has given me the chance to teach me and not judge me for being a girl, even though like you did get slight judgment, but hesitation.
For sure had the hesitation, but he ultimately said okay.
He did. Yeah. And Vince and Jess, they do make up in this episode. It's very sweet. I don't know if this means like we're fully back together, but it was like all is forgiven.
I really appreciated the not jumping into the kiss kind of thing.
I agree.
I was like, wow, that feels mature.
I agree. And I love that they teamed up for like a one last chance to go talk to Mr. Carvel, who
What's
it's like Carvel,
whatever.
Carville, to talk about and kind of like state his case for the Lions and how much the Lions have meant to him and how much Coach means to him and really saved his life. And you know he appreciated it. The guy was like, this is the most refreshing thing I've heard.
Right.
And I feel like that Mr. Carvel was like, I really want to side with you, but
I can't.
I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the episode, Buddy and that main Panther person and another dude in a cowboy hat.
Yep. Whatever.
Show up late at night to talk to Coach. And that's where we leave off that end of that story. Where do you think that's going? You think we're going to talk about more about like, we got to get you in here?
Yeah. Like what can we do to get you back to coaching the Panthers?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's our ultimate goal here.
Yeah.
Mike wants to know, did you think there was a chance they were going to keep the Lions or did you always think it would be the Panthers in the end?
No, Panthers 100%.
You're realistic, you know.
Realistic through and through.
Even though it hurts, right?
Of course.
It hurts.
But the Lions have only been a school for like, 2 years now max at this point? Not even that long?
Mm-hmm.
They had like 2 full seasons. Right? This is the end of their like second season.
And it's been like 25 years since.
Right. So... And the Panthers, okay, they haven't been doing that well football-wise. With Coach's help and the rest of the good Lions, they will. So it just made sense.
Yeah.
The whole town is about football.
And they're just making what makes the most sense.
Yep.
Right. And it's not like they're like, hey, we're not going to take any of the Lion players. It's just like we're going to fuse. But like you brought up a good point. Like, how are we going to take both teams?
Like a ton of people.
It's the best of the best, essentially what it seems like it's going to come down to.
Which like is fair, but it sucks.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to try out you have to try out for a team normally. Mm-hmm. If you're good, they take you. I'm sure there's a lot of like politics that go into that. However, normally if you're good, you'll get said position or you'll get a chance, whatever.
Right.
And if you don't cut it, you don't cut it. And like that really sucks, but this is like the only way to make it fair is to take the best of the best.
Right. Yeah. Vic wants to know, would you go back to the Panthers? She says she wouldn't.
I think he's got a lot of pride.
Yep.
So it's hard to say. Like, it's the same budget, right? They're trying to keep funds and maybe better the funds, but it's not like they're offering him like an extensive amount of money to do it. I don't know. Maybe they will.
Maybe that talk is what.
Right. Like a big bonus somehow or something. Right. Where they're finding that money. Who the hell knows? The boosters maybe like, oh, we will give you a ton of X, Y, and Z if you get Eric Taylor, who's bringing the kids to state. That would make sense.
And they did say that during the meeting. Like, most of the funding, what it seems like from football, is from the boosters.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right, because without that, they would be just as poor as the East Dillon Lions.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And now the Lions have their own sort of boosters, but I don't think Coach will go back only because it's the finale. But then again, I could see him being like, you know what? This is my home, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what that would mean for his family.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't predict that.
Yeah.
I think he's ready to go.
We will talk about him more when we get to Tami.
Mm-hmm.
Coach sets up a meeting with Luke with a D3 school. So this seems like a big deal because we haven't seen any opportunities come for Luke. And we know Luke's been waiting. And we were saying this. We have been saying this. The chat was talking about it tonight. We don't understand where things went wrong because we thought Luke was a good player this whole time.
Right. He's been a good player.
So he meets with this D3 school, Warren
something.
Warren State
Whatever.
Field. Warren Field.
Yeah, Warren
State.
Field. That sounds right.
And it just doesn't give him the feels.
No. He's like, it was great and they were really passionate about me, but not so much on his end.
And I don't think them selling it was really grabbing him. They're like, hey, we just got a Costco and we go to Oklahoma sometimes.
Sometimes, like every other week.
Yeah. He's still concerned over Becky and her feelings for Tim. She goes over, she tries to state her case to him of like, here's what happened. Like, I was super lonely at home. Tim was there for me. He was a friend. When shit went down between us, he was the only one there I could talk to. I put him on a pedestal for that, which I love that she said that.
Yeah.
Right? Like self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not real. You're real. And he was like, put that in a poem.
This really bothered me, really confused me because I feel like this whole situation is like building like a mountain out of a molehill situation. Like, this did not need to go where it went. It did not need to end how it ended. And Luke saw Becky talking to Tim in front of a car. Like, I totally understand. He doesn't know where his life is going. He's stressed. He's not happy. But like, that she told you what was up and like didn't even really need to go into all of that detail. But, you know, they really like each other and they're intimate and they're in a relationship. So she felt like she should. And then he's like not even happy with her answer. He doesn't even accept it. And she's like, fuck you, go to hell.
No, you think it was a great
literally
answer?
Go to hell.
She like stated her feelings in case. And last week you were like, please don't do this love triangle. And I told you, I was like, I was finally right. I felt real good about that. I was like, we're not going there. And she actually does have things to say. And I was really proud of her of the way she articulated her feelings.
Right. And like, screw you. And you come to the realization later on, but like, I have nothing left to say because I stated everything I needed to. You didn't accept it. And that's on you, not on me.
Right. And so Luke goes to Buddy's and
he's the only person in the restaurant.
I know, that was weird. I wonder what time of day this was. And Tim's like, what can I get you? And he's like, a cheeseburger. And Tim's like, anything else? And he was like, yeah, are you in love with Becky? And Tim's like, are you serious,
he's like,
bro?
am I in love with Becky?
And he's like, no, I care for her, but I'm not in love with her.
Yeah. And he said, I was there for her at a time where I know she really needed me.
Yeah.
Like, he owns that.
Right.
And he recognizes that that's where he was for her.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, she was there probably for him too, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
He could have said that, but he didn't. And like, it's like, no, dude, you're stupid.
Yeah. But then he brings up the D3 school
Love this.
and how he's feeling and it's not giving him the feels. And, you know, Tim understands because Tim went to college for 5 seconds.
Force. He was forced.
Yeah. And he's like, listen, you're going to state. You have to show up, lace up, and play like you've never played before and leave it at like that. It's the last time.
I love this so much.
This was so good.
This was so good to hear words of wisdom come from a 19-year-old, 20-year-old, and like just be aware of like, yeah, I went to state. It was the best time in my life. I will never get that high ever again. And that's football. That's in the past. Past is past. I'm moving on. And you should do it. You should do the same.
You should do it. Mike wants to know what will become of Luke. What will he do after high school?
He's a mystery. He is a mystery. The only go-to, and it's so silly because it's what he does right now, is like the agriculture thing. Like, could he be like a botanist or like, I don't know, something more like zhuzhed up than just like, I work on a farm, you know?
Yeah, and it was interesting when Coach asked him how it went. And I think Coach totally knew. Like, you read through him.
And Luke was so sweet that he, like, didn't want to disappoint Coach, that he just, like, put on this really fake smile and just told him, yeah, they were really great, but, like, please help.
Right. Like, they were passionate about me and the program was great. And Coach like, did they talk more about it? And he's like, yeah, it went really well. Thank you. I'm going to smile and nod and walk away.
I got to walk away before I start crying. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it. Why did we do this thing with Luke?
I think we just ran out of time.
I guess so.
They do wrap it up next episode.
I'm sure they do. And I'm looking forward to seeing that. And it should be realistic where maybe there are some kids that do play and love the sport and are good at it, but they just don't get that opportunity to play again.
I know, he just wanted it so bad. But I guess, you know what? Well, no, I'm like thinking of Matt. Because like Matt didn't go off and play.
No, because Matt
had another passion.
Matt didn't have the passion. He played.
He was good.
He was thrown into it. He really was. And then he got to be good, and it showed a lot of a personality growth in him. But that wasn't what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
What he's doing now is like very fitting.
Yeah.
And like I said with Tim when we were watching, like him being a bartender for a few years, not weird. Just be a bartender for a few years. That's a very Tim Riggins thing to do.
I agree. I mean, I don't really have a problem with this.
He has a problem with it.
He has a problem with it. Billy visits Tim at work. He's still ignoring Billy. And he tells Billy, I'm moving to Alaska. I have this whole plan. I'm going to work on the
most random place. But,
There's opportunities there. And Billy's like, what are you talking about? You have land here. And Tim's like, I'm going to sell it. I'm over it. Now, honestly, like, is it such a bad idea if Tim wants to get out of Dillon and move to Alaska and work on a pipeline?
No.
I don't think it's like a bad idea.
No, but it's sad because Billy will now have 3 kids that won't know his uncle, and that's really the only family he has. They don't talk to their dad. Their mom is whatever. We never get confirmation of what happened to her.
No.
She ran out on them.
I mean, Billy can't even get out that he's having twins.
He can't even tell him because Tim won't give him the opportunity to talk to him.
And he doesn't even find out until Tyra. Tyra Collette, y'all, is back. But just take a second.
She's back?
Well, she's back.
But she's back?
Well, I mean, like, we have 2 up. What do you mean? I meant, like, she's
I don't
here.
know. That's how I feel about this episode. Like, if...
Okay. All right.
Are we going to see her next week?
Do you want me to tell you?
Yes.
Yes, we will.
Oh my God. Okay. Now I'm excited.
Yes.
Because I felt like because like why introduce her again?
Right.
If we're just going to get rid of her.
Right.
You know?
But how did you feel seeing Tyra? Because you've been waiting for this for like, ever since she left.
It was I couldn't have asked for a better episode.
Okay.
For her. You know what I'm going to say, obviously, for a better episode would have been her and Landry, but that's...
Right. Yes.
I will ride that until I am
Ride it hard, girl. Ride it hard.
But she gets even more beautiful every time, every scene You're like, oh, she's more beautiful than the last scene.
Mm-hmm.
And she really grew into herself.
Mm-hmm.
But she's home and she's like, this Dillon. It sucks you back in.
Yeah. I mean, I loved the moment she had with Tim because she cuts right through him. She kind of lays it down, tells him about the twins. She finds out he's going to move to Alaska from Billy, which it's like, okay, now we're having like this ping pong of communication going back and forth. She goes back and she gives him some hard truth of like, be careful what you're doing. You're going to lose your family. Then he tells her, don't go. They sleep together. What do we think about that?
Mm-hmm. I didn't think it was going to happen. I don't hate it.
I was hating it though.
I was hating it in the moment, but then like literally when they woke up next to each other, I'm like, I'm fine. I was like over it. But they have a huge history. They've always been these like, as you said, ping pong back and forth. They've always had that rapport with each other. They've always told each other like it's how it is. They were toxic when they were 16. Have they grown? I hope so. Very much. She's had a normal relationship since then. Maybe 2. Who knows? He's had a very normal relationship-ish since then. Do I think that they're endgame? I was spiraling after this, first of all. I was like, and then she's going to live with Tim, and there's going to be the Riggins and the Colettes all together. Like, I was spiraling.
When did that happen internally? Because you didn't express that to me.
Yes, in my brain, internally, I was like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, like that meme, and he's like, all the math problems. I'm like, that was me, like, figuring out what this final episode could be, especially now that you're telling me she's coming back. Like, I feel like she's a big part of what's going to happen with Tim because she's the only person that can get through to him.
Yeah.
I love seeing her with Julie. I loved every person got to have their moment with her. And I thought that was so special because when Jason came back, he really only talked to Coach.
Yeah.
And Lila really with the Tim and her family. Like, we didn't really get like
well, Lila didn't really have friendships besides Tim.
She didn't.
We really isolated her.
You're absolutely right. She did not have friends.
No.
Yeah.
No, they really isolated her. I also love that Tim tells Tyra, why, he's the one, like, he went to jail for Billy.
Yes.
She did not know that.
She's the only person that knows that.
We also know that she wrote to him in jail.
That broke me. Quite literally broke me.
I shed a tear for that. Because that is the sweetest thing ever.
Me too. I was like, I couldn't even speak. I was so happy to hear that.
I know we're like bouncing back and forth with all of it, but just to talk about a little bit more with Tim telling her about prison and him going for Billy and her being like, wait, are you serious? And him being like, I really wanted Stevie to have a father and have what we didn't have. So like Tim keeps repeating this to himself, right? And to Billy angrily, and now out loud to Mindy too. It's like the Colettes and the Riggins were all intertwined. But it's like, how much longer are we gonna stay mad at Billy?
Right.
The grudge is so. Is it a grudge? It's like it's an anger.
He, like, we were joking in the chat, like, you volunteered his tribute. You volunteered his tribute. Yes, Billy started this. You very much were involved, however.
Right.
You did the shady shit too. He should be your role model. Absolutely. He's your older brother. You look up to him. Mm-hmm. He should tell you right from wrong. He doesn't do the right from wrong. You need to be his moral sound. And he just didn't listen at that point. Even though Tim was like, you gotta stop. But he was involved. And he's not completely innocent.
Right. And you said last week too, like, Tim did this, wanted Billy to be better. And it's like, you're not showing up the way Tim's vision.
Right. He's like, I thought this, like, you would have this whole life. And
Becky working at the landing strip. Right. Are you kidding?
He's pissed. So he's upset that he feels like he probably went to jail for nothing. He probably feels like if Billy went to jail, then Billy's life would have been uprooted and maybe Billy would have learned the lesson. Mm-hmm. But Billy stayed and didn't learn a lot. Or so he thinks.
Right.
He learned a lot about family, though.
He did.
He has a pseudo daughter and a son
and a team
and a team of all these kids that look up to him, and a great wife and a sister-in-law that you have never seen in a long time, a mother-in-law you probably never see. Mm-hmm. But you have this whole team behind you, and Tim has no one. but he's doing it to himself. But I understand why. And then you were talking about the first scene of him just like panicking and throwing shit out of his trailer.
Yeah, I took that as some PTSD,
Something
a bad dream.
Yeah, something triggered him and he freaked out because he's not over what just happened to him. And he probably will take him a very long time to even feel normal.
Yeah.
So I think being around family would make you feel a little less weird.
Yeah. Rihanna, she says, "Yay, Tyra." Boo hints at Tyra and him back together. They can just be friends. Kate says, "I was excited to see Tyra in this episode, but ultimately disappointed that we didn't get any updates about her life."
Yeah, I agree.
She asked Julie what happened with Matt, but no one asked Tyra what happened with Landry.
Nope.
Or how school was going.
Nope.
What life is like as a brunette.
Nope.
Or really anything at all. It felt like she was just there to be a spiritual guide for Tim.
Yes.
At one point, I even wondered, is she actually there? Have we seen her interact with anyone else? What did you think of her return to Dillon, which we talked about?
Obviously, we know she's there because she had the talk with Julie.
Right,
but
and she was with her family.
Yeah, what a great thought process, because
I liked that.
it's true. Like, she just was there to talk and hear how everyone else is doing. And, you know, sometimes you want to do that and you want people to talk so you don't have to talk about your life.
Totally.
And she was like, you go and you go and you go because I'm not ready to talk about my shitty life right now.
And I don't think she expected to be or to see Tim in the shape he was in. And then once learning, oh, wait, this is more layered of the reason why you went to prison.
Right. Like, oh, you went to prison. You might look a little different to me. Oh, wait, you're actually way more complicated than you ever have been.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now it's like, well, that's kind of hot. You know? And to go back to the said moment of when they hook up, the whole time, as soon as she left and she's like, get your shit together, you have family, she goes out the door. I'm like, oh, here we go. Because you know he's going to run after her. And he does. And in this moment, I'm like, oh, no, come on. No, you don't need to. You don't need to. Just hug. And then they kiss, and then it leads to ultimately sex, which I'm sure they had a great time doing.
I'm sure
I don't know if it will happen again.
A safety blanket.
Absolutely. They have insane chemistry.
They really do.
Insane.
And again, it's a comfort. It's a comfort. Someone I can trust from my past.
Yep.
Yes, he cheated on her. Yes, treated each other like shit. It was toxic at 16. I don't hate this.
No. Question, though. Who do you think she was talking about when Julie said...
I know.
Oh.
So I'm not going to make predicts with you.
Okay, then there you go. But she does make a mention of knowing what it's like when you love someone.
It's harder when you
love someone. And I was like, oh, you know, I am thinking it's Landry.
I'm just surprised you hung on to that line.
Because there was... I'm surprised. You're surprised I hung on to her when she said the love?
Well, there's that line.
Did she ever tell Landry that she loved him? She did, right? She did. No, she definitely did. She definitely did. But she never did tell Tim that she loved him, even if she did.
Well, again, I think they were just so young.
They were right. So that's why it led me to believe she was talking about Landry, and there's a bigger story there that we don't know because nobody has said it. We have no idea why they ended things because they ended where we saw on such a great high note. Like, they're both she's going to school. It's so great, blah, blah, blah. Tyra broke up with me. I'm like, what? Like, really? Where did this come from?
Well, she didn't show up.
She didn't show up to the meeting spot. And yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's obviously going through some shit.
You think so?
Yeah, she's not really, I don't think she's happy. She might be like happy to be away from Dillon, but it doesn't seem like she's like settled into anything she's really doing.
Interesting, because I took it at,
someone asked her something and I missed it.
Well, she says she doesn't come home often.
Right.
Because she gets sucked back in. Like, she hasn't seen Stevie in a while, but she's like, I guess I'm going to have to come home more to help Mindy with the twins.
Right.
I took it as like, oh, I'm doing pretty well. I don't want to get sucked back into Dillon.
Right. Okay. That makes more sense to me. And now if we weren't in the chat and I was actually paying attention, I probably would have understood. I was like, she said something that was like shitty.
Yeah.
But it was going home to Texas.
Right. When her and Julie talk about Dillon. And
yeah.
Last but not least,
Fired up.
Oh,
Fired up.
Hey, Tami returns home. Coach is sleeping on the couch.
He should stay there.
And Julie's also home. Yay.
Yeah,
Like we
and
said,
she was
Julie's
so
home.
happy to see her.
She finished her finals early. Yay.
Finals.
People wanted to know, where has Julie been? Honestly, I didn't.
At school.
It's school. Like, right in this episode, like, who cares where Julie's
I
been?
don't give a fuck. No one cares.
I
I was happy that Tami was happy to see her.
Yeah, and
That's
like
all.
I don't mean that as like that was a dumb question for you guys to ask.
No,
Not
just
at
like,
all. It's just like,
honestly, she was a third thought.
I just
didn't
took-
even think.
right. I just took her as like, yay, she's home because it's holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Tami hasn't gotten the chance to talk to Coach at home, talk to Eric about what
I don't know
happened
how she
and
kept
how
this in.
she's going. She's been offered the dean, right? Dean of admissions. And so she approaches Eric in his office at school.
Right. During the school day, like probably before lunch, like before he even got to eat anything, gets cranky when he doesn't eat.
Yeah. So to me, and I said this to Liz while we were watching, like, this probably wasn't the best time to
But she
do
was
this.
like, I'm combusting.
And she's so excited, right? Like,
she's like, I'm going to take it.
this is my opportunity. I want to do this. I want to go to Pennsylvania. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, Texas is our home. Our friends and family are here. I coach here in Texas.
Right. We are here. Like, meaning him and his team. Like, we're here.
Yeah. And she's like, well, how many times have I moved for your job? So then later on at home, he apologizes, like, I'm sorry for the way I reacted. And she goes, and it's kind of like we state the thing again, like how I think this would be a good opportunity. And
He's like, we got a problem.
and he's like, we have a real problem
We got
here.
a real problem because I'm staying here. You're going there.
Right. And also, like, you're rooting against us.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, I'm sorry, what? Rooting against us? Oh, you mean you and the team.
Right. Not you and me as a couple who decides things together because we're married and we're a family. No, you and your 17-year-old boys.
Right. I have been your wife and Coach's wife. Coach's wife for
18 years.
18 years. Why can't we discuss something else besides football? I don't see a problem here, especially because at this point, we don't even know
What the future is.
what the future is. And this is what like annoyed me, right? Is like, I understand as the episode went on and Buddy's like in Eric's ear, like telling him of like what could be. But like at that point, you knew you didn't want to be a Panther coach.
Right. And that was the option. That's the only option.
You know it's coming, right? Like, you said you're not going back there. And it's like he has so much pride.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't even finished the conversation. He just gets up and leaves.
That really bothered me because he needed to cool off or whatever. He didn't even really have a conversation
Yeah.
about it.
Right.
It just continues.
And right. And so we have the meeting. Julie asks Tami, like, why aren't you at the meeting? And she says, oh, your dad went without me. So Julie knows what's up. And I wish we could have seen maybe her overhearing. And Tami says, like, I hope the Lions get to stay, but I also hope I get to go and be the dean.
Right. Like, that's the best case scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone wins. But then again, there's no winning because you still have to pick something to happen.
Something to happen. And so we know the meeting happens. And we know the decision that is made.
And they want Eric, obviously.
But we still have not made the decision with Tami.
No. And then when they come to offer him this job, which assuming that's what it is, Tami's like, 18 years. Remember that? Okay, we moved for you how many times? Okay, I'm going to go make you guys a snack.
Iced tea?
Iced tea? What do you want? Because I'm here to serve you, apparently.
And like my favorite scene, my favorite line
The
from
clap
her,
back.
what I'm gonna say to you, what you should have said to me.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Eric.
Like, that was probably the most perfect thing any
Oh,
spouse
my
could
God.
say to their partner who is acting like a fucking prick.
Yep.
I was like,
Yep.
blown away. Like, blown away by you, Tami Taylor. Always.
Always. Lisa, she says, so let's talk about what I didn't like about this episode, because a
Yeah.
lot of people wrote in what they loved, right? But
Of course.
this section, Coach, I hate that he couldn't show a teeny bit of support for Tami
None.
on her new opportunity. She has always supported his decisions. Even when she refused to move when he went to TMU, she still supported him going.
Mm-hmm.
Bad vibes. Tami getting this opportunity is amazing, and he could have at least told her he was proud of her.
Right. Like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, ultimately, like, shit, what does that mean for me? Not like, you did so amazing. You're great. So proud. None of that.
None of it. None of it.
How does this affect me?
We can't
There's no
deal.
I in team, coach.
Can't
you know
deal.
that.
He can't deal.
He says that. I can't do this right now. I can't do this right now. I can't do this right now.
No.
I got state to worry about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a state. There's always going to be something with him.
Yeah.
And after last week when he pulled, I can't believe we're going to leave when it's the semifinals. Really? It's always going to be something.
When you have been used to something for so long and it gets shaken up, I can understand that.
Yeah.
It's just like, do better.
Right.
At least say congratulations.
Right. You had the whole day then to ponder of how you feel and what you're going to say to your wife when you see her again. And that's what you come up with?
And even when he says, like, I apologize for the way I reacted, he should have said, congratulations.
Congratulations. This is an amazing opportunity for you. And he always says, it's not lost on me. It's not. It is. Right. It's very lost on you. Everything is lost on you because you can't acknowledge it.
Yep.
Because it's not what your agenda is. He's a problem. He needs to go.
He needs to go.
She needs to leave his ass.
So after all of this, like, we're all fired up. We get some waterworks going.
Oh.
We have Grandma Saracen. Matt walks in.
Looking
with a Christmas
so cute.
tree. He's so cute. He's like, Grandma, surprise. And she starts crying. Maddie, is that you? Happy Christmas, Grandma. I told Liz, I'm like, aren't you glad she didn't die?
Yeah.
She was like, I know Grandma's going to die. And this whole time, like, she's not dying.
Well,
I get why you thought that.
Of course, when you always have an elder person on a show.
I know.
But this is luckily not like our other babies. And they don't.
Well, his dad passed away.
No, absolutely. We still had obviously very big moments of death, but
yeah,
it wasn't like that predictable one. So I was like, oh, okay, good.
Right.
Grandma's still here. Circle back though with with Julie and Tyra's conversation and how I'm appalled by what came out of Julia's mouth. I'm very confused. We had this loving, gorgeous send off where we'll make it work. I love you. We'll make it work. Whatever. Now she tells me, oh, we haven't talked in a few weeks, here and there. I don't really know what's happening with us. I'm very confused.
Well,
and then she passed by his house. She doesn't know what to do. She's looking at
she's
door.
Back. She probably knows he's going to be back.
Come back. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
I think Matt's bad at communication.
Yeah.
With being in Chicago. And maybe it was like, I care about you. I love you. I do want to be with you. How are we going to do this? I need to do. I know. I don't.
Right. Like can't focus weird. On how to make the timing work.
Or maybe it was Julie's answer of protecting herself.
Right.
Like not wanting to get into it with Tyra.
Right. Or like I'm afraid how it's going to go. So I'm just going to tell her it's kind of more aloof than it actually is. Mm-hmm. We'll see, I guess, next week.
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen now that Matt's back? We got this question from a couple of listeners. Like, what's going to happen with him and Julie? Will they run into each other?
I'm sure.
It's the finale, right?
It'd be nice to have like a Christmas episode. Do we get a Christmas episode? Well, you told me we're doing state next week, which bothered me at first, but ultimately made me understand it is a football show. This is what they've been working up towards for the entire season. The Lions are going to state, which is huge for them.
I mean, it is Christmas. It's the season.
Right. So like,
are you getting a happy Christmas episode with a little bow? It's no, because we have to like.
No, we gotta like make move. There's like a lot of shit that has to happen next week.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know what we're gonna prioritize. I really don't. Like, obviously we know the Taylors are gonna have to make a decision, which I wish they would have done this way, so I would be prepared for next week to know what was gonna happen there. But I guess they're going to Philly. It just makes sense. I have a hair in my mouth. Just makes sense. I see that as like the last quarter of the episode. It would be nice if we did something for Coach, but we kind of already did that. The waterworks will be strong.
Yeah, they will be flowing. I promise you that.
I think that I still believe Matt and Julie to be endgame.
Okay.
I think how much time could we spend just with what we're doing, just what we did like this up to this point. Like if it's a finale, and I know you told me there's like a little bit of a time jump situation. I can't imagine we're focusing like so much time on like the very current things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they'll win state. I think coach will be like, so happy we won state. I gotta go because we're going to Philly.
So you're doing all your predictions right now. I didn't know when to interject. I'm like, we do this at the
end. What was even the question?
It was just, what do you think Matt and Julie will end up together?
I'm sorry, I had to collect all my thoughts. I think Matt and Julie will be together. I think it will be a slightly awkward next week, but I think I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know what it's hard because I can predict like long term and I can't really predict the short term stuff.
Okay. Well, on that note, he says, please rank these 3 couples flings in terms of who is most likely to stay together.
Yeah.
2 years after this episode. So you just said you can see long.
Okay.
Okay. So Matt and Julie, do you?
Yeah.
Matt and Julie, Tyra and Tim, Luke and Becky. Who is most likely? How are we ranking these guys?
The ranking?
Mm-hmm. 2 years from now.
Ooh.
I'm not going to answer.
I think obviously Matt and Julie are number 1 for sure. They're
2 years from now.
They're end game, like for sure end game.
Okay.
It really, with Luke and Becky, this really doesn't mean much to me. Obviously, there's no stake in them.
Yeah.
I don't see them going past 2 years. I think she's still in high school. He's gonna go off wherever or not. Maybe he'll stay local, but eventually they'll not be together. But Tim and Tyra, they're like got a 50-50 shot because they could ultimately be like, wow, we actually could really make this work. Mm-hmm. Or they could be like, it was fun. We're better off as friends. But hey, let's have fun and do the first. And I'll say they are also endgame.
Okay. I love that. That is... We did have a deleted scene in this episode. Mike sent it in. He says, Julie and Tami are on the couch, and Julie asked Tami, what is it that she hears about Philly and the interview? Tami tells her she got offered the job for Dean of Admissions.
Yeah.
Julie asked what Eric thought about it, and Tami said she hadn't had a chance to tell him. Julie is happy for Tami, saying it's awesome and that she's really proud of Tami.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping we would see her tell.
I would have liked that over the scene Tami and Julie
why did he leave? Like, at least one person was happy for her.
Yeah.
Like, we could have seen that.
Yeah. Favorite quote in this episode?
I think I just had, am I in love with Becky? But that's not the quote. He was like, are you in love with Becky?
Yeah.
And then he goes, are you serious? Am I in love with Becky? So I thought that whole
I love
exchange.
that. I've been waiting for 5 minutes for my drink, Tyra. I love it.
I just love, and he heard her voice and he looked up and he was like,
and he smiled.
There she is.
There she is. The angel.
It's the angel.
Coach's Corner. Did you have a favorite moment?
Yeah, mine was when Tim told Luke, like, hey, there's more wow, there was more than football. Enjoy state.
I love that. Yeah, I agree. MVP and shittiest. Who is your MVP?
Tyra.
I had Tyra too.
But I also really, obviously, will forever love Tami. She deserves it every episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had votes for Vince and Tim as well.
Yeah, I could see that too. Vince had an okay episode for, hey, we had no Ornette. Is he on the island?
He's not.
Oh, jeez. That was such a disappointing answer. I was like, really like, okay, we're fine. He's gone.
No, he's not on the island.
Ugh.
No.
Why? I don't want to waste time with him in the finale.
I know. Yeah. Shittiest.
Coach.
Yeah, I had Coach too. We had Luke, and we also had the guy who made the Panthers decision. I mean,
I think it was supposed to be it was like a 3-5 or something, right?
Yeah.
So he didn't technically. But...
Right. Let's go into our booster of the week. Who's our Total Buddy booster? It's Ashley. Ashley Eeks. I know we have multiple Ashleys. Yes.
And the main reason I chose, because today when we're recording is her birthday.
Yay.
She also participated in our One Tree Hill quiz. It's 23 days of Tree Hill. When you're listening to this, One Tree Hill aired 20 years ago on September 23rd. Not trying to make this a One Tree Hill podcast.
No, but it's part of our Total Betty realm.
It's very important and special to us. So we have been posting on all of our social media. So if you're interested in that, check it out. But she, Ashley's been with us for so long. So special, so sweet. And we just are so thankful that she stuck with us.
Thank you, Ashley. And we hope you have a great birthday.
Yes.
Yes.
That cute baby.
I know.
So
oh my God, the cutest. Okay. So coming up with an emoji for this episode. Bear with us here.
This is pretty great, I think.
I think it's pretty great too. So if you open up your emojis and you type in 18, the emoji pops up with the 18 with like the X, like a slash through it. And it is for like no one under 18 can enter, right?
Which is really a funny use of an emoji.
I've never used this emoji
Never.
before. But we're picking this because Tami has been doing the coaching thing for 18 years, right?
No more.
No more. No more. So what you could do is stick that emoji into an Apple Podcast review if you're enjoying and listening over there. It really helps us and we get excited. And guys, we have 2 episodes left. Really 1 when it comes to the series. We'll have a bonus episode covering the movie.
But we have a review.
But we do have a review this week. Thank you so much. Our Lion of the Week is...
with the orange emojis.
See, they
5
listen.
stars.
They listen.
From Theater... Theatric Katie? Like theatric?
Thank you.
We'll try it.
Okay.
I started independently watching Friday Night Lights and stumbled onto these 2 ladies and their wonderful community, which has been on my radar after hearing about Tree Hill Talk. Speak of the devil. After first listening to them since they were watching season 2, I can finally leave a review, which is very fitting as my home state is Florida with the oranges. This podcast has been such a fun way to be able to almost have a discussion of the show when no one is around. No one is around you who even knows what Friday Night Lights is. I have been having fun guessing what is now. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry for the editing. This podcast has been such a fun way to be able to almost have a discussion of the show when no one around you even knows what FNL is. I have been having fun guessing what's next with Liz as a fellow new watcher and look forward to listening each and every week. Liz and Michelle are great speakers and clearly, not after this, and clearly enjoy the show so much, which makes listening an absolute pleasure. I am so sorry that you had to witness all that.
No, but thank you so much for that review. That's so sweet. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
for sending the emojis and your sweet words. It means so much to us, even if we stumble over words. Also,
Always.
it feels like Texas in here. It's like 90 degrees.
I was gonna tell you. I was like, Michelle, my brain is actually melting.
How do you ever? That's how I feel getting through this. It's like, oh, yeah.
We look forward to the fall.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. But thank you so much. And it would mean the world to us if you could leave us a review, please.
Woohoo,
so we could read it on our finale episode. Our finale, episode 13. It's titled Always. I don't have a quote for you because
you don't want to give me anything.
What's the point? You know what's coming. You have hopes and dreams.
I do.
Kate, she says, who else will be coming back for the finale? Do you think we'll get satisfying conclusion for most of our characters?
Yes.
You've made some predictions, but
I don't think we'll get any more reappearances.
You don't.
Oh, wait, you said Landry could be coming back, so I hope for Landry.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing.
There's a lot to talk about here.
Listen up, guys. Okay, so in our Discord chat, Kate said that the extended finale, there isn't a finale that includes scenes with some people
that are very important.
And Amazon includes this cut, what have you. I can't speak either because I'm melting and it is so hot. It's an hour long. The running time is an hour long. I watched the finale a couple of weeks ago in preparation, and this is before I knew this, right? So I'm on the plane, I'm watching the finale, and I'm like, hold up. I'm expecting to see things because I read things.
Right, but you never remember watching them because did you ever watch the real finale?
No. So I never watched the real finale the first time because on streaming services, on Netflix, on Hulu, and on Amazon, as I speak today, okay, so things might change in like a week, they're all the same running time.
44-ish minutes.
44-ish minutes, right? Rihanna confirmed on the DVD the finale episode's an hour. And so
the math ain't mathin'.
The math ain't mathin'. And when I read articles, they're like, here's like the top best moments. I love when this happens. And I'm like, what? That did not happen. I did not see that. So I am on a mission to find this episode, and Liz and I will be watching that episode.
Right. So please join us if you can.
If you can. And people, our buddies in the Discord, we'll keep them updated and posted. That being said, we will be live next week, so you can always join us for our live discussion.
Right.
It's just, I don't understand it. I don't understand why the actual episode is hidden, why it's not on streaming service, why it's only available on DVD. Then if you go on Reddit articles from like years ago, it says, oh, you can find it on Amazon if you purchase the actual episode. No, that doesn't seem to be the case. Then I message Kate. We're going to watch the episode. If I have to, I don't know what I'll do. So
we should message Jason Katims is really what we should do next.
I know.
Like, excuse me. Why did this happen? What can we do about it?
What can we do about it? I just want to get my hands on it. We'll get the DVDs. But that being said, do you think you'll be satisfied? You've said all of the things. Like I told you, we are going to state. There is a little bit of a time jump.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of essence of Christmas is in there.
Okay.
The title is always.
Right. Because everything, always. We'll love this show always.
Sure,
Texas forever.
Texas always.
Always.
You think, Matt, you already said like Matt and Julie are endgame. We will see them together next week.
Yeah, I think they'll figure out some arrangement.
Right.
Matt, he could do art anywhere.
Sure.
You know? Sure. And not that it will be in Texas, because I don't think Julie's staying in Texas. Right. But I think they could make it work somewhere else. Maybe Philly is such a great fartsy place.
Yeah. And then again, like how much do you think we're going to see?
Not a lot. Not a lot of, like I said before, like not a lot of like what we're currently going through. I think we're gonna have to get through state really quick. We have to get through like what decision they're gonna make, which I ultimately believe is they're going to Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that it's just obvious.
Do you think they'll win state?
I think they will. I think they'll win state. Like I said, coach will be like, "Yep, you know what? I won my last state here. It feels really, really good. What a great send off for me." Maybe they'll have some cute little like end of the season like barbecue, and not barbecue, but like dinner, and all the boys would be like thankful for coach and like wish him well in his way and understand why he made the choice. He's doing it for his family this time around, not really for like his goal. I don't know what the fuck he'll do in Philly. I mean, he'll have to figure out some sort, like he's not gonna be a gym teacher. I don't think it's going to be fulfilling to him.
I mean, they might have football in Philly.
I'm sure they'll have football in Philly.
You know, I always feel...
He could coach like a college team in Philly.
Yeah. Finales are hard in general because some part of me always feels a little not satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
Let down because they're usually the same length or maybe like a little bit longer than a normal episode. And you're like, how do I sum up everybody? How do I sum up this show, a series? They're always
hopefully we're getting 20 more minutes here ish.
Right.
Something is itching me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like I said, Matt and Julie, good. Coach and Tami will figure that shit out. They'll win state, I guess. We'll see in the future, like, oh my god, this would be so cute. If like Vince and Smash play on the same team, I would fucking like bawl my brains out. That would be the cutest thing ever. Hey, if someone does come back, it would be nice to see Jason. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I would love to have a conversation between him and Tim.
Oh my
Tim
gosh.
is out of jail. BFFs, mm-hmm. Come on, we need a little something.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if I'm having my ultimate, like it would be Lila, Tim, Smash. All of them will come back.
Were they coming back for just Christmas?
Yeah, or like because they know that coach is moving, and they were like, "Let me give him like a."
Why would Lila come back for that?
I don't know.
I know I'm ruining your perfect dream here.
Well,
maybe for Tim.
I mean, hey, she could still come home for the season. Like it's the holiday season. People should go see their families that are living in.
It'd be kind of nice to see her and Bud Light together,
right? It's true. Her and the brother and. Yeah, I just I'm hopeful for, and I'm sure there will be very emotional moments where people will be like reminiscing about their time in Dillon, and they're leaving Dillon, and they're thankful for Coach, and they're thankful for Tami, and they have this relationship. And I mean, like, that's everyone. That's like, you know, Tim, that's Jason, that's Vince and Luke. Like, all these people are going to be so sad to see Coach go. I'm just going on this train of like, Coach is going. Because I have no other thoughts that, like, there's no way that they can really make this work.
Right.
So I would like to see them at the final couple of moments, like them be settled in Philly, and we see, you know, Julie coming home with Matt, or maybe there's like a really big flash forward where like we see that they're married. I would love that. Or like getting married, or like preparing, like we know that, or like something like that.
Okay.
I want it all.
Yeah.
And I'm here for whatever they show me. I'm on for the ride.
That's the best answer I can hear, because then you won't be disappointed.
Right. I'm looking forward, because I know from you and from other listeners and from like what I've seen and researched and all of this, like it's a great finale. Regardless if we watch a 44-minute one or if it's an hour, I'm sure it's still great.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to watch an hour.
Yeah.
It's always way too short.
It's always way too short. Yeah.
Yeah. So
we'll see.
That's it. I could just keep going on about the things I love and what I would like to see, but I'll just watch it next week.
Okay. Last but not least, we do have Will's football poetry corner.
I hope he does one for the movie.
Oh my gosh, no pressure though.
No pressure.
Kick return. At the beginning of each half in every scoring play, there is a kickoff that needs to be returned by the opposing team. The East Dillon Lions get a collective kick in the balls when they find out they can't represent their school in football after the state championship. Tami is pissed off when Coach doesn't appropriately celebrate her job offer to be the dean of admissions. Tyra kicks Tim in the pants to see how Billy, even with his many faults, is Tim's only family. The return of Matt sets us up well for the series finale.
Thank you for that, Will. A little puzzle piece.
I love what Will, he had a comment about the grandma scene. He goes, I need a warning when Matt sees his grandma. They can't sneak it on me without proper warning.
Yeah, that was really...
I was like
me too. I was
crying the first time
I'm sure.
When
I was trying to keep it together tonight.
Reviewing this. Well, that's it, guys.
That's all.
That's the penultimate.
One more to go.
I can't believe it. I never thought this day would come, even though I did, but it feels so strange. I remember recording the pilot, me having COVID.
Yes.
And
we had to do it virtual.
And in my old apartment. So it's wild to think about that. Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I guess it was.
It was right after our friend's wedding. I had COVID.
You're right.
I had a raspy voice. We did it virtual. I wore my Talkin Texas Forever shirt.
Yep, we wore our shirts, which I will wear next week.
Yeah.
But we'll be wearing shorts.
Yes. It's supposed to be cooler next week. Like 20 degrees cooler. If you can imagine.
Okay, so I won't be wearing shorts.
No, I'll wear my shirt too. But I can't believe it. Time goes so fast.
It goes so fast. The older you get, the more you realize that.
I know.
Time is precious.
But please come back next week for the finale episode. If you're a patron and you want to join us live, please look out for all EST. Of that. That's right. You'll see the link in there. If you're a new listener, you just found us, or if you're really quiet, send us an email. Let us know you're listening.
Sign off email. Just be like, hey, I've been listening for all these weeks.
This was cool.
Thanks. It was great to listen to you guys.
Drop us a Apple Podcast review if that's your thing. Drop us an emoji. You can send the emoji on Told Betty Podcast Network on Instagram. We'd love to see them over there. Yeah, that's it. We'll see you next week for always. Wow. I always leave you with the little word, and then she comes back. But you really have.
My creativity is.
Well, you did a real good job.
Yeah, but I feel like that
you did a good job.
It could go any way.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I could write the whole finale. You know what I mean?
I do. I do.